Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Saturday, December 10th, and we are here, me and Mark Talercio, the executive producer extraordinaire. We are here trying to help you make better financial decisions, just one person at a time. And it doesn't have to be a perfect decision. You don't have to go back and figure out like why you did this horrible thing in the past that left you in a rotten situation, or necessarily take credit for the fact that you're actually just lucky. You weren't such a genius, but you're lucky and you got a good amount of money saved. All of those things are great, fine. But we just want you to look forward and be able to make better choices and maybe relieve some of your anxiety. And in order to do that, we ask you to do a little work. Go to our website, jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, and you let us know if you would be willing to come on the air. And if that's the case, Mark does everything else. Today, we're talking to Bill from Buffalo.
Well, just have some concerns. My wife and I just have some basic retirement accounts, but we decided to meet with the person who manages my 401k and just get some advice. She was suggesting for some retirement planning that we look at a whole life policy to use as a sort of a volatility buffer as a non-correlated asset against the stock market, and integrating that with my wife's 403b and pension in addition to my 401k. Everything that I've been looking at online just sort of seems to advise against that, with the fees involved and the low rate of return. I just wasn't sure if that was a good idea.
Okay, so very odd idea. First, let's go back. Tell me about yourself. How old are you?
I am 46.
How old is your spouse?
38.
And you have a 2-year-old and any other kids?
No, but possibly another one sometime soon.
Okay, so 2-year-old with a option to buy a second one.
Correct.
Okay, great. Tell us about how much you guys make together.
Together, we make about $151,000.
Okay, I'll call it 150. And you both have retirement plans. You said you have a 401k. She's got a 403b. Is she a teacher or a...
She is a teacher, yes.
Okay, great. And so she will have a pension, right?
She does, yes.
Okay, great. In your retirement plan, what is the investment option inside of that retirement plan?
As far as it's just mutual funds, basically that's all I know.
Okay, so it's a bunch of mutual funds. Do you remember the company that offers the funds?
I think it's through Mass Mutual.
Okay, this is what I'm getting at. Do you work for a small company or a larger one? How would you describe it?
Small company.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. A lot of smaller companies, they will essentially say, hey, the boss's accountant, the boss's insurance agent puts in a retirement plan, and usually that plan is through some sort of insurance company, and it's usually not a great plan. It's usually more expensive than, say, let's say you work for a huge company and they use Vanguard funds. The problem is that a lot of small companies, they don't have the option of going to some of the best plans because the plans they have are too small. Okay, so they go to the insurance agent, and then you get this thing called, you probably have a variable annuity, which is part of your 401k, and inside that variable annuity, offered by Mass Mutual, are a bunch of mutual funds. They look like mutual funds. They're not really. They're called sub-accounts. Okay, now I'll breathe. Here we go. The idea that you would use a whole life policy as a, quote, buffer against the stock market is ridiculous. So honestly, you cannot listen to anything this person says. Like at that moment, you can turn that person off, because that's a terrible idea. Unless you told me that you guys have a need for permanent life insurance. So, if you told me that, well, gee, I have a sibling who I'm going to have to care for throughout my life, and when I die, someone has to care for that person, then that's a reason. If you have a massive estate, or if you have an estate that's tied up mostly in real estate, that's a reason. If you're married and you have some obligation for a special needs child, that's a reason. But just for the heck of it, this is nonsense. So how much do you contribute to each of your plans? What percentage of your income do you put into your 401k?
So the total for me is a combined of 9%, 5% that I contribute, 4% that my company puts in. Not quite sure what my wife puts in, but I think she does contribute a little bit more.
Okay.
And as a percentage.
Do you have enough money extra to put away, considering that you have a 2-year-old and you obviously...
We do.
Yeah.
We have $250,000 in just liquid cash. Of that, we're probably thinking about $100,000 we were planning to invest. This is phase one of the plan, was to consider like the distribution phase of our retirement. Basically, it was the argument that was made that there would be an accumulation phase of income or growth, and then a distribution phase. And that was the argument to use the whole life.
Okay, completely ridiculous. Let's just stop.
Okay.
Don't ever mention whole life again to me.
Okay.
I'm going to just take that off the table. Let's now talk about what other things you could be doing. Number one, with your $250,000, and number two, with your sort of life goals. How much money is currently in each of your in your total retirement savings right now?
Right now, I have about $161,000. My wife has about $81,000.
All right. So here's what I think. Of the $250 in cash, how much of that really needs to be in cash, like as your emergency reserve fund?
Maybe $100,000, $125,000. We do have like some home improvement projects and things like that.
So of the $125,000, the idea here would be, how much money do I need to be putting to work in retirement? How much money do I need to be putting to work for education, right? Something around that. You guys, you said together you make $150,000. Here's what I think you should do. I think you should both open Roth IRAs. And then I think you should bump up your contributions into your retirement accounts. And then I think you should put in some money into the New York Saves plan. So now we're burning through this cash. And you can see that basically for the next 2 years at least, we are probably going to burn through the $125,000. That's it. By the way, the Roth IRAs, you can invest them in any cheap index fund. Okay, so you can go to any of the places that you would think about, Vanguard or T. Rowe Price or TD Ameritrade or Fidelity or Schwab, any of those kinds of places. The idea that you would use an expensive life insurance product when you don't need life insurance, because I presume you have a term life insurance policy, right?
We're in the process of applying for it right now. Just I'm going to do a 20-year. My wife's going to do a 20 or 30-year.
Perfect. Don't buy the life insurance through this person, by the way. I would go online. Go to policygenius.com, go to any of these online folks and start to get a sense of how much you need. Buy the term policy, put the money into retirement, put the money into the 529. And how about this? All the fees that advice would have generated goes to your bottom line. If you, like Bill, need some guidance, hand-holding, maybe you just need us to run through some scenarios with you, maybe you're weighing a decision and you think just having other folks involved could help you out, we would be delighted to be those people for you. Just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. While you're there, you can pre-order the new book. It's called The Great Money Reset. The Great Money Reset. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. When you pre-order, you will secure a spot to join us for an online webinar in February, on Wednesday, February 8th. And you will also get a signed book plate for each pre-order that you make. So do that right now. Remember, Mark's bonus next year depends on this. It really does. We've got to get a lot of book sales to help him get a much better bonus, because there's only a certain amount of pot of money that I have. This is my variation, okay? If you do that, you'll make Mark so happy. I can hear it in his voice right now. All right. Do something nice for someone else today. Grit, growth, grace. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.